Okay, so here it is. So we have already named this. No? So Angela named this already. Angel, then Angela and Arnel. Okay, all of those are correct. Okay, so let's move on. So here, naman kita na noon ni ganilis ubos. Okay. So we have it here. Naman ni. So we have it here. Sige na. No? So we have it here. We have also the secondary, no? The secondary alcohol, no? Bearing the carbon group of that. I could not see it much. So these are secondary, no? Secondary alcohols. Example for this is, what makes it secondary? Meaning your carbon is bonded into two. No? Into two. It has a side chain. So this is now your carbon. No? The other one here is your carbon with your OH. This is your carbon. No? Carbon bearing your OH. No? So how are you going to name this? Which is primary, secondary, and tertiary. No? So if you look into this one, pila ka buok ang, no? If this is your OH, followed by your OH, ang inyong tanawon is ang, no, carbon groups bonded to the carbon-bearing OH group. So where is your carbon group bearing the OH group? Diba kani? No, so this is now your, no, carbon group bearing or bonded to the carbon-bearing group. Admit sa ta. Okay. So here it is. This one also is the carbon, no? Bonded to your OH. So how are you going to classify which is the primary and secondary? Apay duha ka buok. Waiting. Manukit ani sila. Here. Okay. So it is being classified into primary, secondary, tertiary. Okay. In what way? So this A here is secondary. No? This one is bonded into 3. Ano man, tanawan mong carbon. This is your carbon bonded bearing your OH. Pila ka buk iyang side. Kapila siya na so what you call this, na-attach. Katulo, ikaupat ang imong OH. Therefore, this is tertiary alcohol. Okay, ha? Tertiary. Why? Because it is being attached, all of your carbon is being attached with different substituent or different chain before your OH. So this is pila ka buok? 1, 2, 3 with your OH. So this is tertiary alcohol, no? Tertiary alcohol. This one is secondary, kapila siya, no? Because there is still H, tanawa ha? Di pa napit H? Kana ang iyong patanawon. Your carbon-bearing group, wa na gani H, that is tertiary. Napagay nabilin nga H, that is secondary. Kung usa ka H, kung duha pa kani, it is primary. I repeat, no? So alcohols are being classified into 3. It's primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, tertiary alcohol. How will you know it? Where are you going to look? It is in the carbon bearing the OH group. Napagani siya CH2 before the OH, unsa siya? Primary. Naagani siya CH pa before the OH, it is secondary. Wala na gani H, it is tertiary. Tabot? Saya na yun na, ha? Okay. So that is how you are going to classify a primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, tertiary alcohol. Gihatag na noon ako ang secret. Okay. Basta na pa'y CH, secondary. Wala na gani CH, wala na gani H, C na lang, unsa? Tertiary. Naa pa gani CH2, it is primary. Okay. So, classify this. So, mangita na pagpuglain. Oh, kani. No. Rose Ann. Unsa man ni siya? Letter A.
One, two. Primary.
Okay. Nga naman. O, unsa man ni siya? Unsa man nga ani de? Oh. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Butane. Then there is
3-methyl butanol.
okay, good. Bright. Ana gyud ako mga estudyante. Bright. Okay. Here, kani. Letter B. Don. Don. Letter B. Asa ang kani mao ni siya ha ang imong C.
Wala siya, ma'am. Primary alcohol.
Good. Nga naman, this is CH. That's phenyl ra ni siya ha, phenyl. Then OH. Okay. Oh. So, pwede po nimo siya himuong phenyl, pwede po nimo siya himuong cyclo. Cyclo, what? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Cyclo, unsa man? Cyclo. Ang 3, unsa man? Cyclopenta, methane, ethane, propane. So it is
Cycloprotein.
No. Cyclopropanol. No? Propane man ni siya. Cyclopropanol. Di ba kung 6, cyclohexanol. Di ba? So 1, 2, 3. So cyclo na siya. Green man ni siya. This is propane, no? Cyclopropanol. Propane man siya. Cyclopropanol. Yes, you are right. Don, it is primary. Okay, letter B. We have, let us look. Nawa man ako mga party. Okay. Sa man. Ruby. Letter C. Unsa man? Ruby? Primary, secondary, tertiary.
Ma'am.
Primary, gihapon.
Primary.
Yes. What's the name? 1, 2, 3.
Propane.
Maglibog mo, no? Kay di ba ang atong kuan kay kung asa ang double bond ngadto magsugod, pero kanilahik alcohol naman magsugod ang 1 dool sa OH. O sa man. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's
Propanol.
1, 3. Oh, butang hig. 3 propanol.
3 propanol.
Or you can have here, no? You can have 3 in, pwede na 3 in propanol. Pwede na po. Na 3 in propanol. Pwede po tong 3 propanol, no? Pwede po to siya.
Because of the double bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, dili siya
In man. In man siya.
in. In?
E and E.
1, 2. Really?
Okay.
2
in.
Oh, 2 in. 2 in propanol. Pwede po 2 propanol, no? Pwede po na siya. Okay? Thank you. Oh, kani. Norman. Sama ni siya. Primary, secondary. Asa man imong carbon? Naanangan ha. Primary, secondary, tertiary.
Secondary, ma'am.
Secondary. Dapat kay CH ani? Wala no.
Tertiary, ma'am.
Tertiary. It's tertiary. Naman, naapamanggod siya nga na. Naban pa siya nga na. Naban pa nga na. Napanganiya. So nawa ang imong duha ka hydrogen. No? So this is already tertiary. Unsay ngalan? 1, 2,
methyl
3.
cyclo. Pen, pen, pentanol. 1
sakto.
methyl cyclopentanol.
Yes, that's correct. Nga naman, be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 ba ni? Hexene. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, sakto di ay 5 di ay. Bebe. 1. Nga na ta ha? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so you already know how to classify primary, secondary, and tertiary. As I have said, all you have to do is look for the carbon bonded to your OH, nearest to your OH. You look if it is already, your hydrogen is already substituted twice, it's tertiary. Once, no? Once it's secondary, wala siya substitute, it is primary. Okay. So that is, if and when there will be 2 hydroxyl groups, same gihapon, we will be using diol. If it contains 3 hydroxyl, you can see 2 OH, it's diol. If you have 3 OH, is triol, so on and so forth. So how are you going to name it? No? In naming diols, triols, and so on, you have here the E, change it with all, pero butangan na ninyo og di, tri. So for instance, ethane. It is ethane diol. No? Okay. There are also compounds containing, no, adjacent hydrocarbons, nga OH. It is glycols. No? So let us have example for this. This is ethane diol. Diba? Kani, duha ka buok OH. So that's 1, 2 ethane diol or ethylene glycol. Tawag ana mga glycols kanang duha. This one is pila ka ba OH naa sa carbon 1 na. Ingumbi ako dili pwede mag carbon 1 nganhi kay ngano man ang atong carbon 1 should be on the OH where the OH is found na pinakauna. So this is carbon 1, 2, 3. Therefore, there is OH at carbon 1, another OH at carbon 2. Therefore, that is 1, 2 propane diol. And here we have 3 OH. Okay, at carbon. Pwede na carbon 1, 2, 3. Pwede for carbon 1, 2, 3 nga na. Pareho na. It's 1, 2, 3. It's propane. But there are already 3 hydroxyl group. So it is 1, 2, 3 propane triol. Or this is known as the glycerol or glycerin. Kaning glycerol or glycerin, this is the one which is add on to shampoos. Mga shampoo, ana. And also to kanang conditioner to make our hair glow. Mo glycerin, mga bata. So this is ethylene glycol, which is a polar molecule, dissolves readily in polar solvent water. What makes it beautiful with alcohol is lower alcohol are still soluble in water until butanol. No? Pero higher na maglisod na kag-dissolve because it is a polar. No? But this is the distinguishing property of alcohol wherein if it is having a lower carbon, lower number of carbons, it will still dissolve with water. That is why there is 70% ethyl alcohol. Oh, di ba? Kabutang sa botilya, 70%, like 80%, napag 40. Actually, for disinfect, pag-disinfect, pwede ra ang 50 kanang pangpatay sa germs. Oh, pwede na siya 50. Pero to make it safe, 70. Ayun mo pangitaan ng 90. 90 to 199, like that, is used in the laboratory for its purity. Pero kanang 70, patay na ang bacteria. So, ayun mo pangita ng 80. Kaya mas mahal. The more taas ang iyang concentration, mas mahal ang alcohol. Okay? No? So, that is it. What is its physical properties? The most important physical properties of alcohol is polarity with the OH group. Okay. Because the large difference in electronegativity between oxygen and carbon and between oxygen hydrocarbons, the CO and the OH bonds of alcohol are polar covalent. No? So kung polar covalent gani, kinahanglan polar, no, molecules needs to be dissolved with polar solvent. Now that's it, no? Because of its polarity. But as I have said, what happened is lower carbon atoms could still be dissolved with water. So for instance, in this, the COH bond, this is known as the methanol, no? So na siya partial positive gani. This is your oxygen, kani oxygen. Kanang mga puti is your hydrogen, ang black is your carbon, kani siya. So your carbon has a partial positive, no? Your oxygen has partial negative. Your hydrogen has partial positive. So what happened here? Nganong pwede pa ni siya ma-dissolve sa water because your water contains HOH, no? HOH. So this could still dissociate dagan mag-hydrogen, no? This could still dissociate your, no, bonds here in your methanol. No? So that is it. Okay. An example of a glycol is this known as the 1,2,3 propane triol. No? As I have said, it is the glycerin or the glycerol, no? Which is, once it is being, no, added with nitric acid, with nitric acid, this will produce the nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin is the component in the bombs. Component. Dahil siya, no? Ang glycerol lagi, ma'am, i-add on para shampoo mo. Yes. But if you are going to add it with nitrification, the process here is nitrification with nitric acid. This will produce this very active compound, which is 1,2,3 propane triol trinitrate, no? Which is the component in the blasting, no? For explosion. No? So, problema ani kung una, that is during Alfred Nobel, no? Problema aning nitroglycerin before is it's difficult to handle. So, unsa may gibutang nila kay it will easily explode. Kung mainitan gani, explode siya, no? So, gibutang, that is why in the dynamite na siya fuse. Na siya fuse. Even in kanang bitaw mga apple bitaw nga kanang pang kita ninyo sa salida nga ilabog na siya fuse. Ngano man kanang fuse niya that will no longer absorb, no? It will not absorb heat kay kani siya dali ra siya mo absorb kani siya heat gamay, it will easily explode. So what happened is the one that is being infused. What do you mean by infused is gi-cover ni siya into clay. Siyempre kung clay gani, dili siya basta-basta mo init. Na? So that is what happened to explosives nowadays. So they infuse it with, ang unsa may gina-infuse niya, that is the diatomaceous earth. So that is the sodium carbonate or murag clay siya. No? But nowadays, no, it has already distinguished as one of the treatment. No? This nitroglycerin is available already in the liquid form. So, in liquid form siya, dili na siya explosive. Napo siya sa tablet form, na space form. Okay. This will be ingested for those who have labaw na gatong na ay mga cardiac arrest. Okay. Pag cardiac arrest tendency is ang blood will, no? Ang blood, labaw na kanina sa blood vessels, no? Modulate siya, na? This will cause deletion in the heart, no? Ang mahitabo is if and when you are going to drink this in a liquid form, that nitroglycerin, this will katong clog iyang katong clog, no? Katong dugo nga nagclog, iya to siyang i-dilute. No? No? And This will relieve chest pain. Okay, so that is one of the purpose of nitroglycerin. Huh? So nitroglycerin is more stable when absorbed in inert solid. Maunang ka ng mga explosive ka na bitong. Baligya ba nga mga pabuto, di ba? Gina-cover siya, ya gina-infuse siya. Kaya nga naman kung mainitan siya, bubuto siya. Pero kung na-cover siya with solid, what will happen is it will not explode. No? Okay. Who discovered this? It is Nobel. Okay. So these are the structural formula of our example of our alcohol. No? So it's methanol. Compare natong methanol sa iyang boiling point o iyang solubility. Okay. So this is methanol. Murag boiling point man melting point ni siya, no? Oh. Di ko kita kay na kuan ako ning kaning ni Okay. So this methanol, let us compare methanol and ethane, na? Methanol and ethane pareho sila, almost the same ang ilang boiling point. Then this is a boiling point mani, melting point. I could not see it. But what is important is looking into the solubility. Okay, take a look. Your methanol, it is soluble. No? Infinite. Pero ang ethane, dili gyud insoluble. Ethanol, tanawa, it is infinite ang solubility niya sa water. But your propane, it is insoluble. Propanol, no, the propanol, it is still soluble in water. But your butane, the insoluble. Pero as I have said, as it goes down, no, it needs 8 grams per 100 grams ang solubility. 8 grams of your butanol to 100 grams of water. No? Dili na ang ubos. Ang human sa butane, we have hexanol, dili na. No? It's only this 4. No? From methane to butanol. There is ang methanol to propanol, it's infinite ang solubility in water. No? Nay extension lang gamay sa butanol. But beyond that, dili na. Why? No. So alcohols have higher boiling points than alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes with similar molecular weight. Because alcohol molecule associate with another liquid by means of hydrogen bond. Na? Unlike with your ethane, walay hydrogen bond. Kaya nga naman, walay OH. Na? Kaning methyl, ethanol, propanol, nga naman because your liquid will dissociate with the hydrogen bond. It will react with the hydrogen bonding. And at the same time, this will increase your forces. No? Between large molecules, no? In alcohol mo nang increasing your molecular weight, what will happen in your alcohol? This will no longer be soluble in water. Ano man, because dako na kayo ang kinahanglan niya nga large molecules naman siya, so it needs a large force that is needed in order to dissociate these molecules. Pero kung gamay pa siya nga molecule, no, that is from methane to butane, methanol to butanol, pwede pa. No? That is known as the hydrogen bonding. No? Okay. The association of ethanol molecules in liquid state, each OH can participate in 3 hydrogens. So this is your OH. Each OH can participate up to 3 hydrogen bond. Maunang, it could still be dissolved in water. Okay, so that is fine. So as molecular weight increases, what happened? The water solubility of alcohol becomes more like that of hydrocarbons. So, di ba ang hydrocarbons, it is not soluble with water. The more higher molecules with alcohol, mapariho na siya sa with hydrocarbons. It is no longer soluble in water. Higher molecular weight alcohols are much more less soluble in water because of the size of hydrocarbon portion of their molecules. Diba dako man kayong hydrocarbon? Diba? OH, last na siya. De, hydrocarbon maning iyang, no? Hydrocarbon maning iyang gikonekan. The more taas ang hydrocarbon nga what will happen? The less ang iyang, no? Less soluble siya sa water. Nga naman, becomes so large relative to the size of OH. Gamay na mong OH nga taas kay imong alkyl group. So which increases your less solubility in water. No? So in this section, we are going to look into the different reaction of alcohol. No? First is let us look into the acidity of alcohol. Second is dehydration. Naana po ning reaction, ma'am. Yes, umtay mahimo. Nagyo ng reaction. Dehydration of alkanes, then oxidation of the aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acid. Mamo pumunta mag-discuss ang aldehydes o apit na pod. Okay. The aldehydes of ketones. So, ang ato lang tan-aon is this, the acidity of alcohols and dehydration of alkanes. Unya na lang oxidation with aldehydes and ketones. Pero pwede po nato na i-touch, no? But not much. So, alcohol have that, no? Acidity values of water, no? Which means the aqueous solution alcohol has approximately the same pH of the pure water. What's the pH of pure water? It's 7. No? 7 to 8. Kana siya ang range niya. Okay. So, what are phenols? What are phenols, class? Di ba katong na ay benzene ring na OH? That is a phenol. Can you still remember the derivative? No? Benzene derivative. Phenol is the ring with OH. Okay. Phenols are weak acids and react with aqueous sodium hydroxide to form water-soluble salt. Okay. This is your phenol. Now, with sodium hydroxide, what will happen? In the presence of water, you will form a sodium phenoxide. Mao ni imong phenoxide. Kani, phenoxide. Kani ha? Mao ni mga bata. Phenoxide ni. What this is your sodium. Ang ngalan ani is sodium phenoxide, which is a water-soluble salt. That's the first one. With phenol. So alcohols are considerably weaker acid than phenols. So do not react in this matter. No? Dili siya ingani siya mag-react. Kaya naman, weaker na ang acidity sa alcohols compared with phenols. So, let us have first the dehydration. The first one is elimination of water from alcohol. Then, the dehydration of alcohol, OH is removed from one carbon and hydrogen removed from adjacent carbon. How it is being done, no? So, in laboratory, what happened here? All we have to do is heat it, no? With the presence of phosphoric acid or concentrated sulfuric acid. This will be converted into, this will eliminate, no, the OH with the presence of that, no? That is why it's so-called acid concentration. No? So here it is. Ma-remove ang imong OH, ha? Mao ni ang dehydration. Dehydration is ma-remove ang OH. Okay. First one, the primary alcohol. It is ethanol. Okay. With sulfuric acid, 180 degrees centigrade, what will happen? Ma-remove ang OH here, then mag-double bond, no? Kaning duang OH nga niya o kaning usa ka hydrogen nga niya to come up with H2O. I repeat, this one, This is your OH here and your usa ka hydrogen yan hiya. No? Gikan sa primary alcohol, it will be into an alkene. Na? No? Mao na first reaction sa dehydration. Na? So, it is, water is formed. Asa man nato gikuha ang water? Kaning OH nganhi o usa ka hydrogen nganhi. Makuha man nag usa ka hydrogen, therefore that will be double bond here. It will be ethylene and water. What will happen? Basta primary alcohol with concentrated sulfuric acid, you will form an alkene and water. I repeat, primary alcohol with the presence of your reactant, your concentrated sulfuric acid, you will form what? An alkene plus water. No? For secondary, primary ni siya ha. For secondary alcohol, what will happen? Okay. The secondary alcohol, for instance, cyclohexanol, no? Same process, gyapon. It will form into an alkene, but it is in a cyclo plus water. Same ra gihapon ang imong, it is sulfuric acid. Pila na nata ka minutes. Pila kita, no? That is for secondary. Then for tertiary, what will happen? For dehydration. This is tertiary. Ma'am, ano tertiary? O, napabay hydrogen nga ni sa imong C, wala na. So it's tertiary. Same gapon mga bata, you will form an alkene. Okay, alkene, not alkane, na alkene. Okay. So, kani siya, OH nga ni, o usa ka hydrogen nga ni, ha? OH nga ni, usa ka hydrogen nga ni, kay makuhaan naman ni siya hydrogen, no? This will form into double bond and water. So you form here an ethylene with water, a cyclohexene with water. Here you have 2-methyl, but it is now propene, not propanol. So in the acid, na addition of sulfuric acid from primary alcohols, you will have an alkene. Na? From secondary, for example, the cyclo, you will have the cyclohexene plus water gina siya. Then here for the tertiary, of course, you will also form an alkene and water. Okay, I think it's almost time. We will just stop here. Okay. Saan naman kung stop? Kanilas. So the is in dehydration, no? It's easy to, no, increasing na siya. So it is much the order of the dehydration here. What will happen? It will be the primary alcohol followed by the secondary alcohol and the tertiary alcohol. Okay. So when acid catalyst dehydration of alcohol yields isomeric alkenes, di ba alkenes tanan ang iyang product and water? So alkene having the greater number of alkyl group, double bond generally predominates. Mas dali. Mas dali what do you call this? You are going to convert that into an alkene. It's easy if it is tertiary, secondary, and primary. So that ends our class for this morning. Na? Then let us move on. So man ako ni pag Okay, let us now. Sige. Nawala ang akong asa naman ko. Okay, share your camera. Let us have a picture taking. At the same time, no, you can ask now your question. Naman, so may question ninyo. May question? Dili. So we'll